Back on another video today, starting this one with the usual thank you to my subscribers. You guys are the best. We're gonna head out this way and see something that's kind of hilarious in a minute, but at the end of the last video I was talking about we were making a wall, redoing the garage out back. This is the carport, but redoing the carport out back, trying to give ourselves a little bit better working space, trying to keep ourselves out of the elements. And so now you notice a quick wall I threw up. It's nice. Hopefully get the elements away on that side, keep us a little bit, I don't know, warmer in here and not as wet during the winter. I am going to build 2 doors, and we're going to make 2 swinging barn style doors. And then the plan is a security gate from roughly here on this pole to right before that step that slides this way. So the dogs will be funneled out. They can still go potty and do their things in the backyard and enjoy all the grass. But I will have all of this real estate with them no longer taking a crap in it or running in there and peeing under my truck or something like that when I'm working. So yeah, today's starting out a little funny. We drove around all weekend. We did all that stuff. As you guys know, I just had the 40s thrown on the big truck. Yeah, we did 100 something miles, you know, drove to the beach 100 something miles, drove around all weekend long, drove all the way back. Monday I drove to Home Depot, got all that metal and wood, came home, parked in the backyard, dropped all that stuff off. We saw in that time lapse in the last video, which if you haven't watched, go ahead and jump back and do that. And then this happened as I parked it in the front yard. You're wondering what this is. This is literally the valve stem cap and all of the core. It like unvulcanized from the rubber and shot out. Me and the wife were about to make a quick another Home Depot run. As we're backing out, sounds like a compressor is venting. All I can hear is just psh. What's that noise? And so I run over looking at the truck like, wait, that's coming from my truck. I thought her truck has popped a couple airlines before, and you can actually see the back is slammed right now and the front's all the way up, so I know I have a rear leak. So I thought maybe that blew another airline, and no, it was actually the tire blowing the valve stem. So the place that did the tires doesn't want to help and wanted to charge me almost $200 for a set of valve stems to be installed. So instead, we're going to run these to Les Schwab. Shut up, dog. We're going to run these to Les Schwab and get this fixed real quick, and then we'll be back and start this video on progress on the 64. We got a whole bunch of goodies, so stay tuned. Hours later, and what used to be my back being in, you know, okay shape, but now, yeah, I'm filthy. I didn't even know what to say. That was the first time Les Schwab's ever really saved my butt. We have new steel valve stems in there. Threw my old valve stem caps on just because now that I'm exhausted, because lifting those up is the worst thing in the world. 40 1550s on 22 by 14s. Oh, man, those make your back just... Now, like I said, 64 progress, we're diving into this. What do you see besides a rat's nest? And that just can't stand anymore. We need to wire the fan up. But when then digging into wiring the fan up, adding a relay, doing it the way you should properly. And look at this. That one, I got a little bit frustrated and I may have broke the ECU mount. But the ECU mount was ghetto anyways, and I hate those. This is like a stock Silverado fuse block. And this, the tack module for the transmission cannot get far. English, I'm so tired. The length of the harness doesn't let the module go anywhere like decent, so it's just shoved under there. There's just a million different things. There's a million things that I hate about this. The harness is just, there's cut spots everywhere. Where's that one big chunk? There's a spot where it's just hacked and exposed. I took it down. Oh, I did, to make it pretty. Here you go. I mean, yeah, obviously it runs. I could go through, figure all of that out, make it all work, but why? Why go through all that effort when before I would have used a Michigan Motorsports harness? We would have had a nice little tidy fuse block. I would have taken a stock harness, chopped it all up, loomed it up, did all those fancy things, and then we would have ended up with something a little better than that. I mean, a lot better, but just still a lot of time, a lot of effort. Those fuse blocks were like $110 2 years ago when I used to buy them. I went to look online just to see, you know, how things had done, and this blew me away for like $105. Look at this thing. Not only did it come with instructions on how to set everything up, it's pre-loomed. It's 12 inches longer in the middle. ECU connectors, well, PCM connectors in an LS sense. This fancy little fuse block, just a switch 12 volt source. There's some grounds. Some wires go to the starter, And yeah, that's it. It has a tack module. I chose it specifically for drive-by-wire, which is going to be pretty cool. There's just a bunch of little stuff that it just blew me away for how cheap, man. I mean, yeah, it's eBay. It was like a JY Performance, which I'm assuming is Japan or something like that. So obviously, we may go through pulling all this out, putting in this new thing, and nothing works. Why not find out though? You know, you pay to play sometimes, and this time I didn't pay anything, and we're gonna see if we can play anyways. I guess we'll throw a quick time lapse together of yanking this old harness out, because it's a mess, man. There's just, this is the stuff I hate. Like, look at this. There's just, this fuse block has so many miscellaneous wires that I'm assuming that went to a body control module or something. I think this is part of the check engine light. I'm not sure. I'm gonna use that as the check engine light, that's for sure. I don't like any of that. This thing has the stuff pre-done for the, what are these? I believe like some of the pre-done under harness wires that are left over. I'm looking at the wrong screen. Yeah, so we have like tack, oil pressure, fan 1, fan 2, bunch of random stuff like that. Yeah, I'm rambling at this point. I'm tired, I'm hot. I'm gonna get a time lapse going, get this harness out, and then start laying in the new one. Figure out exactly what did I get myself into here. 2-3 days before show, I'm pulling the entire harness out, re-welding a bunch of exhaust. Yeah. Oh boy. Alright, after a little B-roll, we went ahead and saw that that harness is garbage. I mean, one last little quickie look. This is what I was talking about with, there's just a bunch of wiring taped together. They're just, I mean, I wasn't nice to it pulling it out, but at the same time, just, yeah, that's so terrible. Couple little things. I did go through the instructions, and I was a little bit worried about this harness at first, because I'm trying to figure out where do my fuel pump wires come from. Like, what they're doing here is they have their module. If you notice, this fuel, oh wait, I read it, it's in the instructions and it's weirded really weird. I probably have the screen just not even aimed to the right there, but the ignition module, or relay, I mean, ignition relay is this one with the red wires. If you notice, this relay has no power and no, you know, activation. There's nothing going to it. That's the one for the fuel pump. So you need to add in this empty slot and this empty slot your wires for your fuel pump. This one gets constant power. This one goes to the pump, ground the pump on the frame, etc. The rest, super simple. I'm not going to go ahead and, you know, step by step how to put this on, because if you're watching this, you probably know how to put an LS harness on. Super simple. Just go through and connect all the connectors where they go. Should be great, should be very simple. I'm gonna try and tidy up a bunch of things. I still want to get like a proper plug for this. It's something I made like years ago to keep vacuum leaks. I'm gonna run the ground wires differently, yeah, a bunch of different stuff. Tidy all that stuff up. I just want this to look cleaner and not be a fire hazard, because yeah, the thing is shorted out so many times, had so many issues, had so many random crank no starts, or then I jiggle the harness and it fires up. So instead of dealing with that stuff, because as of right now, I mean, pacing back and forth, my back is killing me from lifting the 40s, so it's a great day, Joe. But as of right now, if I turn the ignition on, we have air ride and we have lights and all that stuff still. So technically the truck is a truck. It just needs to have the engine harness put back in, if that made sense. Rambletron, let's get this harness going. Alright, quick thing, because I'm an idiot. Harness, I was going to go through and do some little B-rolly of me doing all the connections, you know, clicking them all together. Started to click it together, and then I realized something was wrong. Harness itself, great. The injector plugs, I'm an idiot and I never remember what the names of each plugs are. Pretty sure I needed EV1s. Very sure I needed EV1s. EV14s, whatever. And I got multi-tech harness, so I had to pop the old injector plugs off. You can't tell this side is already done. I actually have to do that back corner one. This side, I need to put the injector plugs on real quick, tuck the harness all up, everything is good. Nice, pretty there. Mount the fuse block, run the switch 12 volt wire, and we can see if it starts. I did find a beat up old transmission cooler. This thing, when I was under there, realized does not have one. So I want to put the transmission cooler on. Need to weld a couple exhaust brackets in place. Time lapse a bunch of that random stuff, and then we're gonna dive into building a bed floor for this that's slightly raised so we can finally have a bed. This was annoying. Took me a little bit to figure some of this out. Obviously this isn't permanent. That wire is just thrown there, so I knew it would actually work. Messed around over here. I'm gonna set you guys down for a second. Let's see if I can aim this. And here, ta-da, you can kind of see. That was bright, damn it. That was dark for a second, sorry. There we go, now we can see. So, yes, this is a Milwaukee M18 battery. Shh. Shh. This is my fuel pump wire. Pretty sure this should work now if I just stick this guy in there. I hear fuel pump. You guys hear fuel pump? Now let's see if I turn this key on. Hey! Hi, it works. Okay. I'll see you guys in the morning. Starting today off, it's just been one of those days for the last few days in a row. It's already 90 degrees and it just barely hit 1 o'clock. We're expected to be 95, 100 today, and I'm really not looking forward to that considering we're going to be out here welding. But over the past 2 or 3 days, I've been battling a lighting issue in the rear of the truck to the point where, yeah, I've just been driving myself crazy over the last 3 days. Like I said, everything in here is completely redone. Looks fantastic. And then we come over to here, and this is where all of our problems lie. So you notice I actually have all of the turn signal stuff unloomed. I have the fuse box unmounted. I have it spun around so I could get to the power on the back. Needless to say, I was going through a lot of stuff. Oh, left my multimeter on while I was getting the camera ready and everything. I just was so flustered over the past few days. And you're about to see why. So you notice 1 headlight switch, 2 headlight switches, and we actually have a 3rd plugged in. This is actually this headlight switch is from the 55 in the backyard, which is, as usual, the savior of my life. This one was brand new. This one was the one that was in the 64 to begin with. So what I've been meaning with the power issue, the lighting issue I've been dealing with, the truck had headlights. The truck has no taillights, or had no taillights, no brake lights, no turn signals, nothing. With a headlight switch, you have a battery wire here, this red wire, and when you pull the switch out, it connects to this brown wire being taillights, the orange wires being your brake light power, which I actually need a new stoplight switch. This has the 2 pins, and we need to convert to the 4-pin terminal for the 4L60. No biggie there, we'll do that later. But so these are your brake light power. What happens is when you press this, it connects this to this, which then just runs through, goes through your turn signal stuff, goes to the back of the truck. So having power at the lights, or the light switch, I would come back here to our taillights and nothing would work. This is just temporary so I could see if it would work. None of these were doing anything. Drove me bananas. Obviously, went through the wiring, went through the loom, changed the headlight switch once, which made things better. Changed the headlight switch again, made things even better. That time I put in that new one that you saw and I thought everything was great. Fantastic. Working amazing. No, I would have 12.9, 13.1 at the taillights, and I thought it was a grounding issue. When I would connect the light, the bulb in series, even with a jumper from the battery all the way to the light, still nothing. Today, for shits and giggles, ran out back, pulled the headlight switch from the 55, threw it in there, and actually, here, we'll go ahead and show you. Lights off. I can come over here, I can pull this stupid switch out, I can come back here now, and ta frickin' da, we have taillights finally. So, with us having taillights, we have brake lights now, we have turn signals, we have wipers, we have heat, it runs and drives, the air ride's all working great. We still have no bed in a tailgate. A tailgate we can dive into, marketplace, score, whatever, we can find down the road. But the bed has been the issue because of how we did the shocks, how we did all of that. I didn't actually film mounting the shocks, but I did get them thrown on there. And now we see a level and some metal. What we're gonna be diving into today is taking all of these pieces here and figuring out how to raise the bed floor up slightly, create some sort of bed structure that will allow us to mock up and start to fake in a bed floor. Obviously we still need the connecting strips and all the hardware, but for now, let's just start to level things out, see how high up we want to go, because I don't want to end up with a 2-inch deep bed, so I tried to keep the notch as low as possible, all that. I want the bed to be a bed still. So I'm gonna try to use this and keep us, if you see up front, I'm trying to keep us below that line, but obviously it's gonna dictate, I don't want anything touching, anything bumping, anything like that. So now, instead of a ramble as usual, let's go ahead, take our Home Depot supplies, just some angle iron and some square tube, and let's start to chop something up, make a quickie little bed frame, floor, contraption, something. Side note, if you're gonna do a burnout, make sure where the rubber's going back isn't aimed the side of your welder or your welding helmet. Alright, we just saw that B-roll. Thing's looking amazing. I'm in here just tidying up some of the wiring because I did install a ECU bracket that's holding everything up. Fuse box is kind of chilling down there. We're not actually going to be able to see any of this great, but I need to just throw a bunch of zip ties. I need to loom all of that. This is all going to go up behind there. And the things that are left over, we have a check engine light, we have brake power,
Actually, it's the TCC wire for the converter unlock, and then the other one is the opposite side of that. So that was why we need to leave these two dangling, because they go to this brake switch in here. We're gonna swap that out for a 4-pin instead of the 2-pin, and then 2 of those wires go to 2 of them. Those 2 go to the other 2. We'll run that check engine light over to, I believe, I'm gonna do this bulb, and I'll just make a nice hole somewhere clean like that. But I don't know about you guys, I am stoked. This thing runs and drives perfect. Oh, so hot. So like I was saying before, I don't know how I misplaced 2 of the bed wood. I have no idea. I'm just missing 2 pieces. We have 6 out of the 8. I have no hardware, no strips, so that doesn't really matter. We saw the B-roll there. I'm really digging how it's starting to look. Like I said before, I'm sweating so bad. Worst case, we throw a sheet of plywood down for now. The wood was just so I have an idea to mock everything up, make sure everything's looking good. I have the biggest mess everywhere around me right now that I need to go through, and I need to just clean up while I'm standing here enjoying this fan blowing on my back because I'm dying. Like I said, today was a short, quick, to the point video. It's actually over the last couple of days because I had problems with the wiring on that thing, which ended up making us miss Unique 10. That being said though, my birthday is this coming Friday. The next day is the Outlaw Industries truck show at the Castle Rock Dirtbag track, I think it's called. And it's for stuff kind of like that. I think you know what that means, guys. We're going to be taking Blue. We're going to run Blue to its very first show, and we're not missing that. No matter what, we're not missing that show. I have a couple little things I want to get done before then, which we'll include in the next video. But with that, the usual. If you haven't already, hit that like button, comment down below, subscribe if you would like to. If you would not, continue enjoying watching the videos. I don't really care. I'm doing this YouTube thing and having some fun. Hopefully it's not as hot wherever you are. Average Joe Builds, we're out.